What's up, Steph? I told you we was coming back with another one. We got the Larry Bird disrespect has gone too far. This is a live reaction. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, and comment below. Let get it.
So, as you guys know, recently Kevin Durant
Nope.
cracked the NBA's top 10
Go
all-time
ahead, Big
scoring
Bird.
list, surpassing the late great Moses Malone. And look, while KD at age 35 is still playing fantastic, has great longevity, the overall notice in recent years, he's somehow better than Larry Bird, his second best small forward in NBA history, I really don't buy. And former NBA champion John Sally, who's very vocal about these debates, echoed that exact same sentiment. As like most NBA fans Sally knows, a player's longevity, while impressive, it's kind of the side dish, the appetizer to the overall meal of an NBA debate. And if you look at Bird versus KD as individual players' all-time legacies and overall value, I think Bird still clears Kevin Durant pretty easily. As a fact, Bird from day one had an instant impact on his team, the thing few players can say. As Boston in '79, without Larry Bird, only won 29 games, the second fewest in the NBA. Compared to with Bird the very next year, and minor roster changes, they won 61, the best in the East. And pretty important note, KD the first decade of his career never cracked 61 wins until 2017 with the Golden State Warriors. Now, one similarity Bird and Kevin Durant do have is being very injury prone, especially late in their careers. But if you look at prime Bird from 1980 to 88, Bird every single year was at worst a top 5 player. As in his rookie year, he finished 4th in MVP. In the next 3 years, was runner-up every single season. And many forget, even 87-88 was still top 3 in MVP voting after winning 3 straight, which hasn't been done since Bird. And a major part of winning MVP is great teammates. And while Larry Bird and Kevin Durant both had Hall of Fame teammates, the way KD won his championships was vastly different than Larry Bird.
Like boy.
In Oklahoma City, despite having Westbrook, a young James Harden, a pretty good supporting cast, he only made 1 finals and won 1 finals game. Compared to Bird, who won 3 championships, made numerous finals with the team that drafted him. And looking at Bird's best teammates, you have Kevin McHale, Tiny Archibald, Robert Parrish, Dennis Johnson, and Danny Ainge. Bird had those all-time great teammates at varying points in his career, compared to Kevin Durant, who's had vastly more talent, but still less rings.
Right.
Of course, having Steph Curry, Clay, Draymond, that crew in Golden State, Westbrook, James Harden, Kyrie, and Booker in his post and pre-Golden State era. And the fact KD in Brooklyn failed so miserably is something you can't say about Larry Bird and his overall career. As in Brooklyn, Kevin Durant was basically pseudo-GM, calling the shots, getting the players he wanted, but still failing. The overall structure Golden State had and still has helped Kevin Durant tremendously in winning those 2 championships. And look at the 2017 and 2018 Warriors. It is heavily debated who is the team's best player and their most valuable asset. As many Warriors fans still argue Steph Curry was the team's MVP both those seasons. Now, we can have that debate, have that conversation anytime you want to. When it comes to Larry Bird, him being the best player on his championship team was not once ever debated. I mean, look at 84 in the playoffs. For the entire postseason, he ranked first in points, first in rebounds, first in steals, and second in assists, only behind Magic. And looking at his overall numbers, he was averaging well above 25 points per game on 50-40-90 splits. And unlike KD and Golden State, Bird in 84 had no teammate above 17 points per game, but close to a player like Steph Curry. And if you want to compare peak for peak, prime for prime, look at 86 Bird. As from start to finish that year, he dominated in all aspects. Of course, winning MVP, only 5 votes shy of being unanimous. Boston, the best record in the NBA, He won the three-point contest, was Finals MVP, leading Boston in points, rebounds, and assists for the entire postseason with once again 50-40-90 splits. In my humble opinion, 84 Bird, 85 Bird, and especially 86 Bird are better than any version of Kevin Durant. And if you want to look at overall competition in the finals and the playoffs, Bird in his finals, he wasn't playing George Hill and J.R. Smith and a bum squad in the 2018 Cavs. The teams Bird was playing were the Showtime Lakers and the Houston Rockets with Hall of Fame big men. And looking at Bird's East, of course, the 76ers, who made numerous finals, had tons of Hall of Fame talent. The Pistons, who had 3, 4, even 5 All-Star players from year to year. The Cavaliers, who had 3 All-Stars routinely. Dominique's Hawks, Jordan's Bulls. The underrated Bucks with Jack Sikma, Sidney Moncrief, and that crew. The 80s East from start to finish was absolutely loaded. And Bird's finals competition, unlike Kevin Durant, was far superior. Now, once again, looking at Bird and Kevin Durant as individual players, the overall passing and playmaking gap is a massive divide between these two players. As Bird, unlike KD, was a phenomenal passer in the fast break, the half court, and especially out of the post. And from Kevin McHale to Bill Walton to Danny Ainge, Larry Bird in his prime made all of his teammates better. And look, KD isn't a terrible passer, a terrible playmaker. He's gotten better in recent years. But comparing to Bird, a Magic-esque passer, it's not even a comparison to these two players in that regard. And one highly underrated part about Bird's game was his rebounding. As 7 times in 8 years, he was top 10 in that category for the entire NBA. And if you want to compare scoring to basketball, I would say yes, Kevin Durant overall was the better scorer. But the overall gap in scoring ability isn't nearly as big as the gap in playmaking and rebounding. And if you want to be 100% honest, the best Larry Bird comparison in today's NBA is someone like Jokic. Great scorer, highly efficient, a beast on the boards, and a tremendous passer. Bird at 6'9", 6'10", was indeed Jokic before Jokic. And his overall offensive impact on his teammates, his franchise, was far superior than someone like KD, who was a score-first player. And if you want to talk offensive impact, look at Boston in 1988 with Larry Bird compared to 89 without him. As in 88, with Bird, they were first in offensive rating, third in points per game, first in net, first in field goal percentage, first in 3 percentage, first in true shooting percentage, and first in assists.
Real it.
That year, Boston undoubtedly was the best offense in the entire NBA. But only 1 year later, without Larry Bird, they go from an all-time great offense to a mediocre or below average offense. As in 89, they ranked 8th in offensive rating, 10th in scoring, 14th in net, 6th in shooting percentage, 22nd in 3 percentage, and 10th in true shooting
Showed you how
percentage.
good he was.
To give you guys some perspective of how big a drop-off that truly is, Boston at 88 was a better offense than the Showtime Lakers. But in 89,
Turn around.
they went from an all-time great offense to just meh, not really that great. And the players they still had, they still had McHale, Parrish, they had Reggie Lewis, and a really deep bench.
All right.
If you look at Kevin Durant's career, yes, he was highly valuable. But in terms of Larry Bird value,
Rebound
that type
Bird.
of value, Kevin Durant never has been that valuable. As in any of his teams, Brooklyn, Phoenix, Oklahoma City, especially Golden State, his offensive value has only transcended his team for the best players in the world. And speaking of Golden State, the big cloud over Kevin Durant's head is not winning a championship without the Warriors. As in OKC, Brooklyn, and Phoenix, so far to this point, he's produced 0 championships and only 1 final appearance. In the post-Golden State era, Kevin Durant has failed miserably. And until he makes a finals and the championship as his team's best player, I don't want to hear any comparison by
Turn
him
around.
versus Larry Bird. And look, like I said in the opening, KD being 35, having great longevity, is fantastic in a vacuum. But if you want to compare players for players, legacy for legacy, overall value for value, longevity stats aren't the way to go. As someone like Russell Westbrook, compared to Bird, total stats wise, is far superior. But like we always say, those longevity stats are highly misleading and not the way to go in a player comparison. So, really in conclusion, Larry Bird, he's still a better overall player, the greater player, with much more accolades and accomplishments in less time. So, that right there is the end of the video. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
Y'all already know Big Bird a real legend. I ain't gotta do too much talking. Y'all already know. Salute Big Bird. Salute Bird family. Thank y'all Stat family for watching the full video. We're gonna be back with another video after this video. Make sure y'all stay prayed up. Y'all be safe. And y'all be good. You know what?